Cool car envy.
We love nice cars.
You're about to see some unbelievably rare classic sports cars. We're back at Toad Hall Classic Car Museum in Cape Cod. This has become a two-part series. And I want to thank Bill Putman, the owner. He was nice enough to get on camera on the fly and bring you guys some legendary classic car history and some great stories. Let's just get right into it.
There's these 6-year-old Triumphs. I don't think they made a TR1. This is a TR2, a TR3, a TR4, a TR6. But this had what they call the small mouth. And it's sort of sculpted where the air can get into it, full 4-cylinder engine.
Oh, yeah.
That's the TR2. Then the TR3, this one started off with the small mouth. This is the 3A, has the big mouth.
Aha.
And then these were the days where you had your crankshaft in
Oh,
case
okay.
the battery didn't work.
It's
and
a backup.
And everything.
Nice.
So that's the 3. And then the 6 back there, TR4 rather, it's a 4A.
Okay.
Then the next one was the TR6. They made a TR5 over there, TR250 here. Basically, it was that car with this drivetrain and engine because they hadn't finished all the stuff you needed to do for that. And then this was what you can sort of see alongside the two. This was 2 or 3 feet longer.
Oh, yeah. Much longer. Yep. Look at that hood.
Big 6-cylinder engine and a fun car, a lot of power. The way over there are 2 TVRs, and the first one, the TVRs, a man named Trevor Wilkinson started it. That's TVR came out of his first name.
Okay.
They
didn't
made
know that.
fiberglass bodies and stuff like that, suspension, and then they took drivetrains. And that particular one there has the drivetrain out of a TR6.
No kidding.
And the one behind it, a Ford V6.
Interesting.
But back here, like I say, this is 2, 3, 4. Then this is the Spitfire.
Beautiful.
And then the hardtop, the GT6, was basically a hardtop of this. This has a 4-cylinder engine. That had a 6-cylinder engine. And then there was the Spitfire, was also the name of one of their British airplanes during the war.
Right.
And that little circle thing was on the wings.
Oh.
I made that up.
Oh, that's great.
These do not leave the ground.
Yep,
But
right.
that was a neat little car. Basically it's a hardtop version of this with a twice the
Yeah.
horsepower engine.
Wow. Fun.
That particular one, we've had a lot of trouble starting it. And but I've got about, in my envelope of things, people are interested in cars, I've got about 15 people that would like that car right there.
Oh, I bet. Look at that. Yeah, she's a beauty. Really obscure, beautiful
all these
car.
Cars came out of the West Coast because with moisture and humidity and everything,
Yeah.
they just rusted out on this coast.
Yeah.
And so things like that, which is a neat little car, they're probably only about 2 or 3 on the East Coast.
Very rare. Yeah, I bet.
Before this car, the TR6 was ready, they had the TR4, 4A with a big mouth. And then they made over there a TR5. Over here was called the TR250.
Cool.
And I got a hold of one. It was in pretty bad shape. Had it over a body shop. He went out of business after a while. I got my money back, but it was sitting outside. We just scrapped it.
That's a shame, yeah.
But that would have been a super little car.
Right.
These 2 TVRs, like I say, this has the Triumph TR6 drivetrain in it. And that one back there has the Ford V6.
Right.
Now they were very close to Lotus. And Lotus designed the interior of this one, and then they copied the exterior. The Russian guy bought TBR and kind of ran it in the ground.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the Lotus Esprits,
Right. You can see the similarity, yeah.
87 was the last of the wedge shape, and that's what a convertible would look like if they made one.
Yep. Basically, there you go. Convertible wedge Lotus.
If they made a hard top, that would be over there.
Yeah. That's funny.
And then the interior would be the same.
Yeah, they borrow ideas from each
Oh,
other.
yeah. But they were both not in cahoots, but they were both some of the early ones to use fiberglass bodies and make them light and make college chapman's philosophy: make them light, make them fast.
Absolutely. Fascinating. Really interesting stuff.
Features.
It's just great to get all the story and all the background behind these cars, because each one of them really does have a story.
All these cars that I've had for 20, 30 years, 20 years at least. I forget where I got that particular car. I think it came out of Florida. Right. But anyway, I had it for about 2 or 3 years, and the guy I bought it from calls, "Would you like to sell it back to me? I'd like to have it again."
I bet he wanted it back.
I said, "Nah." And now, because we've had trouble starting it and stuff, if he ever called again, I'd say, "Sure."
Yeah.
But like I say, this is a car that a lot of people would like to buy. It's just a neat little thing.
It's so unique looking. Look at that body style. Gorgeous.
But you also have to realize the English are only about 4 feet tall in those
right.
Things. That's why it's so low.
Yeah, not a lot of leg room.
My waist level.
Yeah, that's a great looking car.
These cars are the way they came, but I added things like Minuteman Racing on all of them because that's what my 240Z was. Minuteman Racing, so I was doing Minuteman Road.
Right.
I haven't raced any of these, but I just kept them as a family.
So you started racing the Datsun 240Z?
Yeah, I bought it new in '72. And back then they had the what they call the blue laws in Massachusetts. Stores couldn't be open on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
So there would be 4 malls, but shopping centers had 5 to 10 acres of asphalt. And so they had little autocross events and things like that.
Okay.
And Lime Rock and Briar and a couple of tracks, club events. And so I started playing around, and by '75, oh, heck with it, tore it apart and made a race car.
Nice.
But I had 4 years of racing, and I just ran amateur stuff. But I won in C production, that class, in the Northeast division for the last 3 of those 4 years.
Excellent. Wow. So you definitely had some talent there behind the wheel.
Well, Bob Sharp Racing, which was a factory team, and I lived in Connecticut at the time.
Right.
They did work over the year, and then Gene Crow, the head mechanic, would sell me the year before stuff. Really expensive things. Right. And you need this thing. $50.
Nice.
Fine.
Yeah.
Back then, $50 went a long way.
Right. That was more money back then.
But I couldn't have done it otherwise.
Right.
And when I needed to have my head done, the engine head, not the head.
Right. Yeah, the head gasket. Yeah.
The guy that did his heads did mine. He worked in the evening over his house.
Oh, nice.
And
so
I got stock. They were 250 horsepower. And I'm sorry, 150 horsepower.
Oh, 150. That's a lot still for the 70s,
And I got 310 horsepower out of it.
Okay.
Bob Sharp got 330.
Really?
A little bit more than
wow, 330 out of that. Wow,
and,
a Datsun 240.
Paul Newman was a better driver than I was.
Oh, yeah?
But then the rest of the car, of course, was the...
Right. But it's not always the car. Sometimes it's the driver. Interesting.
But that's why I did so well.
Yeah. And you had an inside track with the parts and the work under the hood.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Wow. So you had a nice run. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's so cool. What an amazing car find. Make sure to watch part 1. And if you're ever in the area, go check out Toad Hall. Make sure to tell Bill Cool Car Envy sent you. We'll see you on the next one.